Good morning. I would like first to thank the organizers for inviting me to this edition of Tonalestate. I will talk about artificial intelligence, fear or enthusiasm in the next few minutes. And I will start by explaining a little bit what artificial intelligence is. In fact, artificial intelligence is a set of computer systems that are designed to be able to perform specific tasks that usually require human intelligence. It's important to remark that they are prepared to perform specific tasks, not to think. I mean, it's just one of the faculties we have as human to perform tasks, not to think. So artificial intelligence systems are in fact just tools, nothing else than tools. Well, what is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is a special kind of algorithms. We are full of algorithms in our lives. We have, for instance, very precise algorithms like the ones in GPS. In the GPS, when we use GPS to know our location in the Earth. In fact, these algorithms are robust and they always give the good result because they are based on human knowledge that has been evolving during centuries, geometry, communications, satellites, and they give a real precise result. Then we have other algorithms which we call heuristic algorithms. The same GPS, when we ask the GPS to find us the best way to go from one place to another, is performing this kind of heuristic algorithms. They are algorithms who have a lot of parameters that must be tuned because the problems that we want to solve are not precisely defined. What is the best route to go from one place to another place? Well, it's not clear. It depends on the subject. Someone will want to go fast. Some other people will want to have a road with a nice sightseeing to the forests, for instance. So those algorithms are not precise because the problem is not precise, not precisely defined. And most of the problems we have in our lives are not precisely defined. So we need those heuristic algorithms. But both algorithms, the robust and the heuristics, are using human knowledge. Well, there is another kind of algorithms that have appeared in the last years, and they are not based on human knowledge, basically not based on human knowledge, but on data. They learn from data. It's machine learning, the machines that learn from data, and then they act. They try to solve tasks based on this data they have learned. So the source of the algorithms is either human knowledge or data. We call artificial intelligence basically one kind of artificial intelligence gives us heuristic algorithms, and in this way it uses human knowledge. Another kind of artificial intelligence is based on data. And then it's this artificial intelligence that learns from data, just by mostly not using human knowledge. And this is important, we will see this. Well, in fact, we usually artificial intelligence is associated with what we call deep learning, and those are those machines that learn from data. And basically, the problem is that they are like black boxes that nobody can explain the behavior of those boxes. And they have another problem, and this other problem of artificial intelligence, of what is called deep learning, which is more or less synonym at this moment of artificial intelligence, is that they have a guaranteed probability of failure. I mean, they are not exact. They will fail in a certain percentage of cases. And this is very, very, very important, because depending on the application, those systems can be useful or not so useful. For instance, we have applications that are error tolerant. This means that if we have some errors, it doesn't mind, because we will look afterwards to the result and correct it. It's like, for instance, the translation, automatic translation is error tolerant, because we will modify the translation if necessary. Then we have applications which are error sensitive. This means that errors are very important for those applications. And for instance, medical diagnosis. In this case, if we have human supervision, it's okay. I mean, the machine gives some result, and we can then modify this result if we see that it's not acceptable for us. The problem is that when we have error-sensitive applications and we don't use this human supervision, and this is the case of autonomous cars, for instance, or weapons even. In this case, artificial intelligence can really become a problem, because it is not exact. It will fail in some cases. It has a guaranteed probability of error, and we are not supervising those results, so they will cause problems in some cases. Well, let's go to some of the questions that were posed in the manifesto. For instance, the first one is, will artificial intelligence be able to rule as well as possible? Could perfection be realized in artificial intelligence? Well, the answer is clear. I mean, we should demystify artificial intelligence because deep learning systems, the artificial intelligence we have now, will never be perfect, and will never be perfect because errors will always be there. This black box of artificial intelligence is prone to errors, they are unavoidable. Data will always be incomplete, so this learning process will not be the perfect we would like to be. Data will always be biased because most artificial intelligence systems nowadays have problems because they are used for communities like Black communities, when they have learned and they have been fed with data from white people. So then they will fail because there is bias. It is not adapted to the community which is used for in the system. always machine learning is suboptimal. I mean, the learning process is not going to the perfect learning. So the machine will fail in some cases. We know the machine will fail in some cases. And the last point is that we have problems with privacy because data is data from someone, and in some cases it's the ethical problems arise when this data is used without permission. Another question: will the robots be able to stop wars and abuse of man over the other man? This is also from the manifesto. Well, it's clear that this is false. This is false because artificial intelligence are tools for solving specific problems. And like other tools, they will not solve our problems. There is a false narrative about the goodness of artificial intelligence, but this is incorrect. This is not the real thing. I mean, people trying to sell artificial intelligence systems, they tell us that artificial intelligence will solve all our problems, but I mean, the experts, they don't think the same. We know the problems of artificial intelligence systems, and last but not least, the responsibles are humans, not machines. I mean, artificial intelligence systems are not accountable. They are not responsible. The responsibles are humans. So the big ethical question is the accountability. Who will be the responsible if an artificial intelligence system fails? So what about intelligent or smart weapons? Well, in this case, it's even worse because I mean, we have this well-known probability of error of artificial intelligence systems, but in the case of weapons, errors can be human lives. And this is very, very, very a very important concern from an ethical point of view. Any system should comply with those three principles: proportionality, the distinction, and responsibility. Proportionality means that in a conflict, the answer must be proportional to the threat. Distinction means that the system, the weapon, a smart weapon, must be able to distinguish between military people and civilians, and this is not the case nowadays. And proportional responsibility means, as I have already mentioned, that someone must be accountable for the errors of this system. Well, we have tried to discuss this in a report, and you have here the URL of the report, and you will have a lot of information on the ethics of those kinds of weapons if you are interested in. Anyway, the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, said the following: machines that can have the power and the ability to kill people are politically unacceptable, morally repugnant, and should be prohibited by international law. This is a very good sentence on intelligence on smart weapons. And finally, another one of the questions in the manifesto is this one: will we get perfect societies? Well, unfortunately, I think the answer is again no. Why? Because we are not perfect. Our machines are not perfect. Our artificial intelligence systems are machines, are tools, are just tools to perform specific tasks, not to think, they don't have the ability to think. They have just learned about data and try to, with a certain percentage of error, to perform tasks. So robots will never solve our problems. We cannot evade our responsibilities. We are in this world and we are the responsible. We can try to reach better societies, but to reach better societies, it's our task. It's not the task of our machines. We are the subjects in this real challenge we have now. And as Michael Shermer said, machines are not so problematic. We need to pay attention to people, not to machines. The people that are the ones that can cause problems to other people, not machines. Why? Because anyway, if machines start to work in an unacceptable way, as Michael Shermer says, we can always unplug them. So machines are tools. The problems must be solved by us. Thanks a lot for your attention, and it has been a pleasure that you have invited me to this edition of Tonalestate.